welcome back to SV Jus Dreaming. Okay, I've got this window taped shut here because there's just glare coming in, so I put a little painter's tape up here just so don't let it bother you. The window's not broke or anything, it's just the glare was killing me. So this is my little office here, so I'll give you a tour of that at some point. But anyway, where we left off last time was we were trying to remove the hatches, and just to get the hatches open took more than an hour each with tools, pry bars, wrenches, hammers and punches. I mean, it was a serious job just to even open the hatches, let alone remove them. And it ended up taking more than 2 weeks to actually get the hatches physically off the boat. For some reason, I was trying to preserve the frames. I thought there was a chance I might need those frames later on, so I was trying to not damage the boat, not damage the hatches. I thought there was something there worth salvaging, but as it turns out, there really wasn't. So here's a little footage of some of what it took to get the hatches physically off the boat. If you've got hatches that have been embedded in 5200 3M, you know, God help you, because it's a job. So, all right.
So at first, what I started to do was use wedges that I bought at the hardware store, and then I finally graduated up to steel flat bar and driving that up between the hatch and the glass. That worked pretty good with heat. I sharpened the edge of that flat bar, sort of like a knife, so it would cut through the sealant. So I got it pretty good. It just wouldn't come apart at the top. Right at the top, it was just sealed tighter than a drum. So ended up using a heat gun and bigger pry bars, and eventually got that thing removed. But I didn't get it removed without totally bending the frame of that hatch. I mean, it was pretty well destroyed. I just couldn't get anything up against that sealant at the very top. There was just no way to do it. So those bolts right there were real problematic. I've seen that used in construction. The guy who owned this boat before me was a construction guy, so he must have used that. I saw those at an airport one time holding up some big plate glass. So anyway, if you were to try to drag yourself out of that hatch with those bolts sticking up, you'd be cut to ribbons. I mean, that was a real safety issue all the way around. Those things had to go.
Captain's log, Friday, the 21st of July. Thursday was a frustrating day, to say the least. I spent the entire day on the internet trying to find a new hatch, or actually a pair of new hatches that meet the ISO 9001, A1, yada 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 standards and specifications for hatches that are at or below the water line. So these are apparently a very special hatch, not the hatches that I had on here, because these hatches were just normal everyday deck hatches from Lumar, and not really the right item for the job. So that's why they leaked, and that's why they had problems.
Problems, yeah. You could say there was some problems. Well, there was a couple of companies, 2 of them to be exact, that you could buy hatches that size, or basic close to that size, and both of them in Europe. And one of them, Goat, or I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, it was they had one representative in the United States in New York, and he wanted $1,800 a piece for those hatches. Okay, special ordered out of Europe. The guy was nuts. Anyway, found out later I could probably have ordered the same hatches for a lot less money if I'd have just went to a European dealer. So I ended up going with a company called A&B Marine, and I couldn't tell you where they're out of, but they're in the United States. Talked to a guy named Jeff, and he free plug Jeff. How about that? He fixed me up with some Moonlight hatches that are manufactured in Denmark, and they're completely certified, okay with the Coast Guard, and pass all the ANSI, specifications for hatches that are at or below the water line, and so we got those ordered. It took probably close to a month to actually order the hatches, and another month to get them. So we didn't have hatches for 2 months. Now, the original plan when we pulled into this marina was we were going to bring it in, clean up the boat, the outside, do a little buffing, a little waxing, paint the bottom of the boat, put in the new safety hatches, and then throw it back in the water. And I had a slip reserved at Fort Pierce City Marina, and I was going to go over there and finish all the interior work, the cabinets, installing the new generator, all the things that we've done. So, I mean, just a brief overview. I mean, we've taken out an old generator that did not work, and that was located in a bad location. We've moved a hot water heater. That was shot. We threw it out. We moved it. We tossed it over the side, and installed a new hot water heater in a different location. And then we had to completely rebuild, refiberglass that whole area of the boat because it was all rotted, because the hot water heater had leaked for God only knows how long. And so we got the fiberglassing done there, and then installed the new generator in that compartment where the hot water heater was. And we have taken a big closet out and installed a washer dryer, and done a lot of cabinets, and installed a new hardtop, and the list just goes on and on. I can't, just top of my head, those are just some of the things that we've done. But the point is that originally we were going to do all of this work at the marina, in Fort Pierce, and in the water. And the reason for that is because the air conditioning on the boat, everything works on these boats when they're in the water. It's very difficult to have a functioning bathroom when it's pulled out of the water. Now we've managed, and we've been here for a year, and we've installed a little roof AC unit over the master bedroom, and just been plugging along at it. But the original plan was 2 to 3 weeks on the hard, then throw it back in the water. And just there was just no way for that to happen. This next footage is, I'm going to just take a quick, just show you. I found a used radar arch. I had a guy quote me like $3,000 to build a radar arch, and I went to a marine surplus store and found one that was pretty close, and I could have it modified. And so that's what we did. But I mounted it up here on the back of the boat to just see how it fits. And then we have a local welder fabricator here in the boatyard that is supposed to be good at doing that kind of work, but I could never get him over here. So I ended up taking that ended up being a 6-month job. Everything that was supposed to take 2 weeks or 3 weeks just kept dragging on and on and on. You just can't believe it. So bottom line is, I think in the long run we're ending up with a much nicer boat than we had originally planned on ending up with. We're doing a lot more work than we had originally planned on doing, spending a lot more money than we had originally planned on spending. But it's coming out pretty nice. So Anyway, I'm going to show you a picture of the radar arch before it was modified and that kind of thing. And we'll go on from there.
I got my radar arch up on the boat, and I can't really leave the job site today because I'm waiting on the welder and modification guy to come over here and take measurements to actually make this thing fit to the boat. So I don't dare leave or do anything. So I've just been helping the guys prep for boat bottom paint. Looks like we'll be doing boat bottom paint tomorrow on Saturday.
Waiting. I'm still waiting for the guy to show up. Been here a year. Not here yet. Oh well, you know, that's life in the boatyard, isn't it? Listen, I really appreciate you tuning in this week. I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy these videos. We're going to get into some real technical how-to. How do you do this? How do you do that? Boat repair techniques. Gonna show you what we've learned and hopefully have this thing on the water come May 1st. So the closing clip is of us sailing this boat. I had a question I had a person ask me a question on that. Is this boat sailing offshore with myself at the helm waving goodbye or waving hello, whatever. So hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next week.